Good morning, guys, and welcome to Unique Not Different. Today, I have Alex Alegundin. I think I butchered that, but sorry. And he is the co-founder of Wheeling Forward Foundation. And I also have Entima Solowazi, who is the founder of Roots Foundation right here in Trinidad and Tobago. I must mention that Wheeling Forward is based in New York City. So today, they both foundations have been collaborating a number of years now in terms of making persons, I guess, in Trinidad and Tobago and the United States more mobile, I would say. So good morning. Alex, I see that you're on and not sure where Antima went, but we would start with you. Can you tell us a little bit about Wheeling Forward?
Yes, absolutely. I mean, Wheeling Forward is an organization that me and a very close friend founded more than 10 years ago now in New York City. We really wanted to help people with disabilities get back to living. So specifically myself, I was hurt in a car accident. I became a quadriplegic. I use a power wheelchair full time when I was 19. My friend was actually my roommate in the hospital. We were both in rehab for many, many months. He was in a separate car accident. And at the time, we were just trying to get our lives back together. Your life gets torn up when you get into an accident like this. I was in college, and then all of a sudden, I couldn't do anything, couldn't even brush my teeth. And Wheeling Forward was really formed to fill areas of need. We are very fortunate in the New York City area to have many disability organizations, but there were still areas that were really not being filled around education, around wheelchair donation. One of the issues we have here locally is a lot of people with disabilities end up in nursing homes where they don't have to be. They can be living a life in the community, having an apartment. And one of the ways we wanted to help was we started a wheelchair donation program. So insurance coverage here in New York doesn't pay for power wheelchairs for quadriplegics when they're in nursing homes or in institutions. So oftentimes they're in bed all day, sometimes for months, unless a family member or somebody else comes, gets them, and takes them outside. And they certainly don't have the independent mobility of a power wheelchair to go out in the street and go places where they want to go. So Wheeling Forward does a lot around wheelchairs. We do a lot around sporting. We really believe in using sporting and adaptive sports as a way to help people with disabilities, as well as we do exercise and fitness. We run an exercise program in Manhattan, in New York City, where that is fully accessible to wheelchair users, and we work with anywhere from 70 to 100 people um, through our exercise program every year. So that's just a little bit of an intro, and we do a lot of different things, but it's meant to get people active. It's meant to get people together. I think one of the strongest things people with disabilities have is meeting each other and learning strategies from each other. Who's going to work? Who's going to school? Who's having a family? Who's learning how to drive? Who's learning how to travel? How do we learn all that from each other to achieve independence?
So we're supposed to have Entima here, but unfortunately, due to technical difficulties, he's not here. But can you tell us the collaboration that you and Entima, because Entima Foundation, Root Foundation, is right here in Trinidad and Tobago. And during, while we were setting up, you both mentioned that you discovered each other in 2019. Can you tell us a little bit about wanting to help persons in Trinidad and Tobago? And
Absolutely. It was actually in 2019, a group of friends, including some of the people who work at Wheeling Forward. Um, we took a trip down to Trinidad, where on one hand we were there to see the beautiful island and take a little vacation, but at the same time, a friend of mine had some connections and a friend at the U.S. Embassy in Trinidad, and we had taken on our flight 5 wheelchairs, a couple power wheelchairs, and some manual chairs. And we were coordinating through the U.S. Embassy and saying, "Hey, we'd like to make a donation." In New York City, we donate a lot of chairs. We've probably donated 400 power chairs in the last 10 years. of various kinds, and we wanted to bring some of that to Trinidad. And the U.S. Embassy was gracious enough to have a little ceremony. We got to meet Entima and his foundation, and some of the people who we were donating to came out. Some of the other individuals, we met some therapists, some occupational therapists, physical therapists who work in Trinidad, who came out and helped us to identify individuals. Sorry?
Yeah, go ahead. Yeah,
Um, some of the therapists helped us to identify the individuals that received the chairs, the wheelchairs. So we were able to give 5 wheelchairs then, and we even provided some support from New York City. We sent some parts that were needed to make it more customized. And that was kind of our first foray. It was kind of beautiful and natural. We didn't know who we were going to meet through the U.S. Embassy, but the embassy gave us this amazing connection. And then we did a second round of wheelchair donations, this time through Entima and through the U.S. Embassy. They forged a partnership with a shipping company who helped us to send additional chairs to Trinidad. That is the biggest challenge. We in New York City actually have a good amount of wheelchairs. It's just getting them to Trinidad. So this was about 2 years later. I think this was around 2021 or 2022,
yeah,
um, where we got a bunch of chairs together. I think it was 3 or 4 wheelchairs, and we got them shipped to Trinidad. And Entima did his magic with finding individuals who needed them. And I believe
yeah,
I think the U.S. ambassador came for delivering some of the wheelchairs to individuals'
yeah.
home. I think one of the recipients was a young girl who lost her chair in a fire, or her home was burned down. And um, you know,
So,
mhm,
Alex, I think we have Entima back on, right?
great.
By phone. So, Entima, welcome back.
Ye-
You hear me?
Yes, hello, good morning. Yes, hello, good morning to you, Alex, and the
Awesome.
world.
So, Entima, Roots Foundation, right? I think you started off with a different, I guess, how they call it, objective. And
Well,
what made you want part of this collaboration?
well, Shamla, good morning again. We keep asking ourselves, I keep asking myself, how we really got involved because, as Alex said, I was listening to Alex a while ago. The embassy invited me to this wheelchair handover, and I was asking myself, but we really don't do wheelchairs, right? But I still attended, and we gave one guy a wheelchair, right? Well, I met you some days before, so I got your number, and you were have been my points person ever since. And from there, organically, this thing started to grow. As Alex said, we did another round of wheelchair it was 2021. We did 5, and then I kept a relationship with Alex, sharing what we're doing, learning more about wheeling forward. And I said, Alex, let's do this thing regular, you know. And here we have another shipment came in some days ago, 4 wheelchairs, right? So this, Shamla, I cannot tell you we had this blueprint and this plans and these objectives. This just happened organically, and I am grateful to God for this opportunity because when we deliver chairs to persons, the expressions on these people's faces, the warmth from their voices, like it is really heartwarming. It fulfills your life in such a different way, because you're making someone, you're assisting someone to be more mobile, than they were before. And we are grateful for this opportunity, and we want to continue this relationship as long as we can.
Awesome. And before we have 2 minutes before we wrap, right? And how can persons reach out to your foundation?
So we are on all the social media platforms. It's Roots Foundation TT, right? They could go on our website, Roots Facebook, IGX, all the different platforms. They will find us. I usually give out my number. It's not secret, 479 4510, 479-4510. And yeah, once we have the opportunity to continue working with Alex and Wheeling Forward, we will. We have some things in the future we want to plan. Right? You will be a big part of it too, Shamla. So let's see how these things unfold as we go forward, God's willing.
Yeah,
Alex?
we'd look, go ahead, sorry.
Yeah, I was just going to ask you, where do you see, your collaboration with Trinidad and Entima Foundation going forward? In just 30 seconds, can you tell us?
Yeah, absolutely. We're very fortunate in New York, when, we have vans in an operation. When people either pass or they get new wheelchairs, a lot of times they call Wheeling Forward. We're one of the only organizations that does it. So we have a good amount of wheelchairs. If we can find ways to get them to Trinidad, in more efficient ways, whether it's through shipping or whenever we have individuals travel, we'd love to help more. The gift of mobility, and we're giving not just standard hospital chairs, obviously, we're giving power chairs, we're giving custom lightweight chairs that people can really move around in. If we can provide that as a resource to those who need it, it's life changing. Just 2 weeks ago, my wheelchair was broken here in New York, and I had to spend 2 days in bed while it was getting repaired. Felt like my life was over, and there's people that sometimes experience that for prolonged periods of time. So anything we can do to help, we're here.
Awesome. So, would Alex and Entima, I want to say thank you so much for coming and doing this in general. Thank you for your service, and thank you for giving back. And Alex, thank you for wanting to collaborate and help persons in Trinidad and Tobago. Because from my experience, I heard a feedback from myself, from one of the individuals who received that wheelchair, and it was amazing the impact it had on that individual. So thank you so much. And I would like to have you back to share your story and also your expertise in terms of accessibility. So we will chat. Okay?
Absolutely, no problem.
Awesome. So guys, with that being said, I want to say thank you so much for tuning in to this week's segment of Unique and Different. As I always say, be good, do good. Until next week. Bye everyone. Bye.